Okay, so we're continuing on 3.4 here. This will be our last day on 3.4. This should be part 2. And what we're doing here is we're taking a look at volumes of pyramids, but we're given, notice we're given here the slant height. We're not given the overall height. So we need to find the overall height, right? We need this one. That is really important. So it was mentioned here just before we started recording here. How do we find h? What theorem do we have to use? What special relationship?
Pythagoras.
Okay, the Pythagorean theorem, or Pythagoras' theorem, yeah, which says that a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And so the a and the b are the legs of a right triangle, and the c would be the hypotenuse. So we know from our diagram that the hypotenuse here, this c, is 25. And we also know this one, but we kind of have to do a little bit of figuring first, don't we? So what is this length? It's going to be half of 35, right. What is half of 35? It's 17.5. Very good. So I don't know what h is. I don't know. So h, let's say h is going to be our a, and the b is going to be the 17 one, and the c is the 25. So let's go ahead and do that. So it's going to be h squared, I don't know what h is, so leave it as h, and square it, plus 17.5 squared equals 25 squared. And if we use our calculator to figure out what this is, so 17.5 squared is 306.25. And 25 squared, if you have to do that in your calculator, you can. 25 squared is the same as 25 times 25. That's 625. And then we've got our h squared here. So I need to get h all by itself. So let's subtract 306.25 from both sides. Then I'll have h squared all by itself. So let's see. 625 now minus 306.25 gives us 318.75. And how do I get h by itself here? What's my final step? You square root it. That's right. So square root both sides. And we can do that pretty quick on our calculator. You don't even have to retype that in. You just use an answer key there, whatever your answer button is. You should have an answer button. And it'll just copy that right in. So 17.85. Okay, so h is 17.85. Now, we're not done yet, but that's an important piece in solving this question. So the volume of a pyramid, we know, is the area of the base times the height divided by 3. So I can find that now. The area of the base is going to be 35 times 35, or 35 squared. And I've just found the height, so that's 17.85. And I'm going to divide that all by 3. So go ahead and get on your calculator and you can solve that. Alright, so your calculator should tell you that that's about 7,288.75. Okay. Now if you just used one decimal place here, you get a slightly different number, maybe closer to 7,300. But yeah, we usually use 2 decimal places whenever we can, right? So that is number 6. Any questions? All right. So I think the next question is very similar. It's almost exact. So I tell you what, why don't you guys try B and C here, and D. Why don't you guys try B, C, and D, and then I'll check in with you in a few minutes. Okay? So there's B, and then here's C, and D. Okay, guys. Here's B up here on the board. So if you had a chance to give B a try, you do have to find the H here. We're going to use Pythagoras. And so if you plug in the values, you solve for H, however you like to do that. A little puzzle method or this way. That's a puzzle.
No.
So you should get, as long as you get this answer for H, you're good. If you get 28, you're incorrect. So you use this H, and there you go. Volume of the pyramid is area of the base times height divided by 3. You should get something like this for your answer.
No. You haven't done it yet.
All right. So we're going to move on to the next section here now. So just suspend your operations here for whichever question you're on. You can come back for C and D if you're not quite done those.
So we're planning to finish.
Yeah, we're going to get to the. Yeah, we're going to get up to. We're going to do this this example. We're going to do some more questions. Yeah, and then the next is practice your skills. So we're going to get up to practice your skills for sure today. So we're going to get up to the end of 9 today is the plan.
For tomorrow, is it going to be review?
I'll let you know.
Okay.
Okay, so volume and capacity of cones. Okay, so remember a few days ago we did that little activity where I had the cones, the wooden cones, and the pyramids and all that sort of stuff, and we talked about volume. So a cone really is just a circular-based pyramid, right? It's a circular-based pyramid, like a teepee. Yeah, sure. Say if you have a square base, and you have all comes to a point that's a pyramid. This would be a circular-based pyramid. Would be a cone. All right. So the volume of a cone is the area of the base times the height divided by 3. The volume of a cone is the area of the base times the height divided by 3. Doesn't that look familiar?
No.
Should. Should look familiar. That's just like a pyramid. So the area of the base is a little bit different for a cone because it's a circle. So we have pi r squared h over 3. Or 1/3 times pi r squared h. And you'll see that right here in your notes. So these are both the same. It's the area of the base times the height. Really, really easy. Okay? So let's take a look at the first question and build your skills. I'll go over this one with you, and the other ones will be very, very similar. Okay, so the volume for a cone we said was pi r squared h divided by 3. So that means we need r and we need h for sure to find volume. So do we have r in 7a?
Yes, we do.
We do. This is the radius right here, this length right here, and that's 5. So r is 5. Awesome. Do we have the height, the overall height of the cone? Remember, that's from the center of the circle to the very tip. And yeah, this right here, 14.5 inches, is that exact height. So height is 14.5. So this one is really, really easy, and we can just plug our values in. So the volume is pi times, what's our radius? 5 squared times, what's our height? 14.5, all divided by 3. Yeah, that calculator of yours might not have a pi button. It doesn't look like it's a scientific calculator. So if you want to come borrow one, or bring your own.
I know where mine is. It's in my locker.
Yeah, okay.
We just divide by 3.14.
All right. So yeah, if you don't have a pi button, you can use 3.14159. No, 59.
What?
3.14159.
Check that.
What?
I don't think.
You don't think that's correct?
There's a 6 in it.
Let's see.
Oh boy. 3.14159. I've been teaching math longer than you've been alive. Okay, I know what the first 5 decimal places are for pi. Okay. Volume. Pi times 5 squared is 25 times 14.5 divided by 3. You can do that all in one operation, I think. Depending on your calculator, but should look like this. 379. Does that look right? Anybody else get 379?
Yep.
And we can do 2 decimal places, 0.61. Okay? So that's for 7a. Now, there's a bit of a 7b looks a little bit different. It's just two cones stuck on top of each other. So guess what? Do a volume 1 and do a volume 2. And the volume total is simply volume 1 plus volume 2. All right. So, yeah, you can go ahead and work on the rest of these questions. And I'll help you out if you need any help. But I want you to give them a good honest try first. And we'll finish up all the questions from 1 to 9. Okay, that's your goal for today. Oops, where are we at? There we go.